Brianna. Good evening, Dino. How are you? Good evening, everyone. We've had an amazing day today. So much to update you on. Robin Pingerton, good evening. Let's give everyone a few more minutes to join because there's so much to update you on. Okay, good evening, everyone. We gave a few minutes grace. I'd like to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everyone to Update at 8. It has been a powerful week and a very, very powerful day at the down under the Gold Dome today. We have had some incredible victories. And I dare say, Dr. Lisa Eichelberger, that this session has been the most successful session for UAPRN legislation ever. Can I say that? Can I make that claim? That's a very, very big claim, but it has to be. It has to be. Would you agree? We
So
can't.
far,
Oh, there you go, Dr. Eichelberger.
so far, if they get passed and signed into law, you can definitely say that.
I can definitely say that. And I want to say that it's due in large part to many of the individuals that are on this call tonight, Dr. Lisa Eichelberger. I also have Robin Pingerton. Robin, where are you? No one is showing themselves tonight. I don't know what's going on. We have Regina Canty with us, our two co-chairs of the Government Relations Council. Hi, Regina. And I don't know, something's going on with Juliana.
Robin is on. Robin is on.
Robin is on. I don't know what's happened to Robin. Robin will join us in a minute. And we have our amazing lobbyist, Juliana McConnell. Juliana, I don't know, you're trying to convince us that you're tired this evening, but I'm not going for it because you like to say that we're the Energizer Bunny. You are the Energizer Bunny, my darling.
Honey, it's been a crazy week. I was there one morning at 6:30 and one morning at 7. So it's been a long but an amazing week.
Well, that's when all the magic happens.
Yeah.
And I really can't wait to get into what we have been able to accomplish thus far, and where it is that we need to go, and what role you will play as we march towards Sine Die, the final day. What are the things that you can do that will help to ensure that we make it there?
Oh, well, number one, I want to, this, as we always say, it's a team effort. No one person can get it done. And our team is just coming through big. I mean, it's been great. And we've got new players too that are getting energized and down there, just like today. Oh, they just did an awesome job. And our very own, if Robin, when she can talk, and then and it was your idea this morning, Michelle, when you called our VA APRN and got her there. That was just it was just an exciting day. And but kind of back up, and there was more than just, today we actually had 2 bills that passed today, 2 critical bills. Now, and like Lisa said, now we're going to be cautiously optimistic. We can see the finish line, we can reach out and touch it, but we still got to get those bills across the finish line. But we've never had our bills at this point, and this many bills at this point, when we were ready to this far away, actually from Sine Die's week after next. But we've never been in this position with this much legislation, with the possibility of, hopefully, I'm praying and hoping we get it all across the finish line, and we're sitting there in good shape, very good shape for all these bills. But we'll start going backwards. Just before we left at 4 o'clock today, the Senate Regulated Industries met, and we were able unanimously to get the Schedule 2 bill passed by Regulated Industries. And
that is amazing.
And had the Medical Association get up and testify, thanking the author for working, for the chairman for working with them to make some, a few changes to the bill. But still, the things that were still in that bill, the Medical Association would have absolutely fought us tooth and nails on a couple of years ago, right? Because it's
2 years ago. Yeah.
And we didn't get it in the shape that we started in, but we got a big chunk out of the apple with this. If we can get this across the finish line, it's Schedule 2, where APRNs and PAs in an emergency situation for no more than a 5-day supply. Now they did scale it back. It's not all Schedule 2s, but they included, if you recall, Lisa, remember when Dr. Watson wrote year before last, he said he cut it back and said only hydrocodone. Mm-hmm. So they said this would include hydrocodone and oxy and compounds. Okay, so that's a step to give you for Schedule 2 for 5 days, not 3, 5-day supply. And before he had said 2 years experience. This one has 1 year experience before you can, 1 year that you have to have had an active license for a year before you can start riding, and you take classes every other year, for updates. We also, unfortunately, we weren't able to keep you have to be, that's only for 18 or older that you can write the prescriptions for. And we had in there in the original version for under 18 for any medications to treat attention deficit disorder, but that was one of the negotiations that had to be taken out. So, but it is 18 or older for hydrocodone, oxy, and compounds. So that passed, but to pass unanimously, oh my goodness. But your team, we have been, for the first time ever too, that I can recall, working together. We had the PA lobbyists, we had the GNA lobbyists, we had Aubrey Valines and me representing the UAPRN, and we also had the lobbyists for the Shepherd Clinic, because she came to me and said, they desperately, they told her as their lobbyist, they wanted a major focus put on allowing APRNs and PAs to write the disability parking permits. Okay, and they did not put that in that bill because that was considered, the leadership was the one that took that bill and wrote it. They just took some of the language from some of our prior bills, but they didn't put in those parking permits. So she came to me, and then I told her, she went to the author and they agreed, and we got the parking permits in there, authorizing APRNs and PAs to order disability parking permits. So that was added in just like in the last couple of days. So the bill passed. So now it goes to the Senate rules. Now this bill has already passed the House. This is a Senate bill. I mean, a House bill that's now passed the Senate regulated industries. Now it's in the rules. So then we just have to have it put on the Senate calendar to be voted on. And since a lot of the leadership, we had Senator Dolezal voting on it today. And thank you, Robin. That's her senator. He's also my friend, but she reached out to him. I reached out to him, and he voted positive for the bill. We have Matt Brass, who chairs regulated industries. So we had several, in the leadership there, and a lot of committee chairs on that. So we're very hopeful on getting it on the calendar. We've got next Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then the following Monday and Wednesday. That's how many days we've got to get that bill out of the Senate. By now, it was changed. So remember, it's got to go back to the House for the House to say, we agree to it. Well, with Ron Stevens, Chairman Ron Stevens carrying the bill, there should be no problem in getting it approved in the House. It's just the formality of, they take it back to the House. Ron Stevens will say, the bill changed. I recommend you approve it. They'll approve it. And once they approve it, then it'll be done. So that's what we have on that bill. We also had a bill that just came up out of the blue a few weeks ago, came to our attention, that we had, again, our team was there today, and over in the Senate Children and Family Committee. Okay, and this was a piece of legislation, and I actually remember I represent licensed counselors also, and this is something they've been trying to get for years. And it is authorizing adding APRNs and licensed counselors along with PAs and MFTs. But it's nurse practitioners, not all APRNs, nurse practitioners, which is the majority of APRNs. And the courts were actually working with this legislator because they need additional healthcare providers that are qualified to write orders when someone needs a guardian to be declared to the point where they need a guardian legally appointed for them. This will authorize nurse practitioners to be able to assess and write those orders for the first time ever. So, that was great. And it passed only with one no vote out of that committee. So now it goes to rules and also in the Senate. So we'll be pushing to try to get that bill called up and approved. If it's approved, it does have to go back to the House for agrees, but with this particular author, they will agree to it. So
Juliana, really quick, can you share why it was so important that NPs be added to the list? What was the issue?
Well, the original bill that came out, and we just identified it after, it was like one of those that just came up and moved quickly, and we weren't even actually, aware of the bill. And I've had too many numbers going through my head. Help me with the number of it.
Juliana, I can't keep any of the numbers straight, so I won't be able to help you with that. But I do remember that one of the big issues was that there was such a backlog of physicians, or such a need for these guardians and conservators to be appointed. And because of the backlog, there are a lot of other very capable providers, such as nurse practitioners and PAs, that would be able to help fill that gap, correct?
Right. And because the courts were saying that actually it's very hard for them to get physicians because, to take their time, and they get paid, but it's not a lot of money. And they said that they were in desperate need of having some additional healthcare professionals added to that list that they could pull from and to cover the whole state, which nurse practitioners and your licensed professional counselors especially did. In fact, LPCs, there's an LPC in every county in the state of Georgia. So we were, and it was just it was a win-win for all of us, for the court system as well as for our providers. And like I said, licensed counselors have been trying to get on this list for years. So they were real excited, and it was a good team. I mean, we all sat there, we all worked together, we all spoke together. And the thing is, the lobbyists for the LPCs and the UAP and the APRNs is both Aubrey and I represent both those groups. So it worked out real well. So
I want to acknowledge, finally, we see Robin Pingerton. Robin.
Hey,
Sorry.
Robin.
Hi, everybody. I'm
Hey,
in my car.
Robin.
Sorry, it's been a long day.
So Robin, we've started off, you were getting your access together there, but we started off by saying how important it is that we have individuals that would be able to come to the Capitol, stand at the ready to be able to not only just attend the committee meetings, but be available to testify and to answer questions. And that was you today. So before we go on to the other bills, can you talk about what your experience was today and let everybody know that they're not going to pass out when they get there, that they will be able to do well, and that they have support, and that we do help to prepare remarks and get you coached and ready. So Robin, what was that like for you?
And I'll tell you, I did find the bill number. It's House Bill 297. That was the
297.
guardian.
297. Well, it was amazing, right? It's been such a great since, the GRC has been formed about 9 months ago. It's been such a huge learning curve. And I tell you, I am most amazed I did not realize how much strategy goes into the bill making process. And I've known Juliana for several years. I've learned so much just about the strategy, and she's an awesome strategist, and why she does things and the reasons, and it all makes sense. It's a little nerve-wracking, a little nervous at first, right? You don't want to say anything wrong, right? Or open up something that might send somebody down a rabbit hole. But all in all, just this process, we're very well coached. We spend time reviewing all the bills, Juliana, you, Dr. Eichelberger, we all go through all of this, and we prep for this. The AANP policy conference, of course, helps with that as well. And our upcoming legislative conference we have, I know Regina's going to probably talk more about that, but that's another opportunity to get comfortable with this process. And you have to be, wanting change. I've been doing this for 25 years, and it's time. My kids are grown. I have the time, but we have to move healthcare forward in Georgia. And I feel that finally, I think maybe times are changing a little bit. Just hearing all the legislators today, we did not get much opposition. And, you guys, the past years, I know you've broken a lot of ground and for us, and had a lot of opposition in the past, but I think the tides are changing. Juliana, correct me if I'm wrong. But, I felt very supported with Aubrey and Juliana. I mean, it was very well, I was very well prepared to do this, and very happy I did it. But we need more of you down there. We had, oh my gosh, is Marlene on the hill? Is it Marlene?
Marilyn.
She came with us today. Marilyn came with us today.
Marilyn Hall, representing the VA.
She came with us, and she wanted to watch. And next time when we go down on the 29th, she'll be ready to testify if needed. So, just come down and watch the process. It's really amazing.
And I appreciate what you're saying, because I think it takes you being there to learn that, yes, we did have unanimous support by the time we had both those bills, except there was only one no vote. But it took a lot of work prior to that to garner all those yes votes. And then also the strategy, just like working with Robin, we went over and over her testimony. This is what you say, stay away from this, don't say this, it opens up. And then, but reaching out, because I was all of a sudden, I spent several hours this morning in an office the minute I got there, because someone called to tell me that the chair of that committee had questioned with the nurses and had some concerns, about the qualifications of the nurses. So I was on the phone with the president of the nursing board, the past president, the executive director, reaching out to our team that I have together. I need this, I need that. How many of this? Even during the meeting at one point, I had to send and said, somebody quick, tell me how many PAs are in the state of Georgia. And when we do that, then quickly somebody that's in my little group text back immediately to tell me. Because even though it wasn't asked, we've got to be prepared and we've got to think ahead. What kind of questions might those legislators ask or need to know? And so that's what also Robin was sitting there making notes, have this, have that. So it takes a lot of time. And we do all that for her to sometimes you end up having to testify with a lot of questions. And then again, but it's because of the homework we've done before in talking with these members of the committee. By the time we got there, we didn't have to do a lot of testimony because the bill, it was obvious from our working with the chair and the other members, we had built their confidence up for the bill. So it kind of eliminated having to do a lot of testimony. The same way when we went with a Schedule 5, we've been working on this Schedule 5 now for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then by the time we needed to have a APRN there. Even if you didn't have to testify or say a lot, I still had to have you there for somebody to answer questions. Yep. And for them to be, I asked Aubrey to be the one to get up and make to speak on behalf of UAPRN, but he had to have Robin standing with him so he could say, I've got an APRN here that's been a nurse practitioner for over 25 years. So are there any questions? So it just means a lot for us to have you there instead of just me and Aubrey. The lobbyist getting up talking. The PAs had gone first. So their lobbyists, along with one of their officers on their PA association, and she'd been a PA for years, they actually cover so much of the bill and even some of our APRN section. By the time that Aubrey and Robin had gotten up there, you also have to, with the strategy too, you've got to feel, do we need more testimony or do we need to cut it off now because we got the votes? Because sometimes if you keep talking, you heard the chair say, we got a lot of people that want to testify, but just remember, too much, if you talk too long, you may create some questions that may change somebody's yes vote to a no vote. So you got to also consider that. But it worked out perfect today. I mean, we couldn't have had it any better. But when I heard that yell, when they said all those in favor, and it was like, yes, and no votes, that was unbelievable for our Schedule 2. And to also have MAG get up and as you notice, they never said we oppose the bill, even though on their website they have that they oppose it. But by the time they got up there, they just thanked the chair and for working with them to make a few changes that they felt was needed in the bill. So that was also historic for us too, to have MAG do that. So, and that was just 2 of our bills. We still now, key is our top priority though. I mean, that's important, both those bills, but our top priority is actually our APRN license bill. Now we have, remember we have 2 bills, the Senate bill passed and it's in the House bill passed and it's in the Senate. We've ran into a little bit of Dr. Watson, Senator Watson has not put our bill on to be voted on because he does not, we have the parking permits on it. Now we could take it off, but right now we're it's still there. We do have a chance on Monday or Tuesday if we need to try to move that bill to strip those parking permits out since they're already on another bill and just move it through singly. But right now it's already passed. The Senate bill 164, it has already passed the committee. It is sitting in rules. We were told by the rules chair Aubrey and I both have talked with him. He told both of us that he would get the bill on early next week. So we're holding our breath, waiting until that bill hits. And once it gets on and then it passes, then it's just got to go back for agrees. So that's the reason we're kind of concentrating on that. And that's, remember, Senate Bill 164. So that, and, but we still have that second one sitting there in case something were to happen. It's kind of an insurance policy sitting back over there that we could strip out those, because Watson said he did not have a problem with the license. He just did not like the parking permits. So if we strip those off, we could get it through his committee. We have, and the bill, remember, I think I told you last week, so excited that one of the governor's bills is the bill that creates a new loan forgiveness program for nurses after they have worked for a year, that if they can get up to $100,000 in loan forgiveness over a 5-year period if they sign and go to work at a university to teach, because they said they're trying to incentivize to get more nursing professors at university so that they can graduate more nurses. So, and it's a governor's bill, so it will pass. It's already passed. It's a Senate bill and now it's in the House. It passed committee, so it's waiting to go on the calendar to be voted on. Several things in the budget, some dollars in the budget that we've been looking at. The mental health bill. Okay, that is one that we're really having to watch right now. Remember, we put in it, we worked with the authors of the bill and we were able to get in it the alternative discipline program for the nursing board. And just like the medical board has, that language is in there in the House bill. And it also has the workforce data piece, which is the governor's language. So we feel it will stay in, but the Senate is taking it, and they have two positions, Dr. Watson and Dr. Kirkpatrick, who are controlling that bill. And Kirkpatrick has told us she is taking out a lot of things in the bill. And we've been told that she's basically really stripping out a lot of. So we'll be waiting for that to come out and see what they've done to it next week. But that doesn't mean it stays out. That just means that's the Senate recommendation. So it will be different from the House. So they'll have to go into a conference committee, and those 3 House members and 3 senators will decide what goes into that bill. But I did speak with her this morning and encouraged Dr. Kirkpatrick and asked her and told her how important that alternative discipline program was for the Board of Nursing.
Juliana.
Yes.
Juliana, but does Dr. Kirkpatrick have any problem with creating that health professions database and reporting it to the governor and the legislature?
She did not say anything, but that is the governor. That was the governor's bill, remember, separate.
Right.
So,
right.
So I feel certain that language should stay in there because it's the governor's language. I don't think they're going to go against the governor. Okay, so I feel that, and I've been told that that language, since it's the governor's language, should be safe in the bill. So, but
because that's what I'm very concerned about, is that piece of that bill.
Right. And we have, and I tell you, it would be good, for you and maybe some others to send an email to Dr. Watson and Dr. Kirkpatrick and tell them how important it is if they leave that language in the bill. Okay.
Okay.
And I do that tomorrow. Go ahead and send an email to both of them.
Juliana, let's not gloss over that part. Okay, this is
no.
very important.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
collection of workforce data, we have been working on that feverishly.
10
So
years.
let's, how many years, Dr. Eichelberger?
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
I'm not, I'm kind of, I just feel confident, even if the Senate tried to take it out, the House, that's one thing the House would fight, put back in. Okay, but I just don't think that Senate is going to, knowing that that's the governor's language that he put in that bill, that they're going to mess with the governor's language. Because look, that's kind of I mean, when you start messing with the governor's language, you have, they got a lot of bills they need the governor to sign. The governor would be
Exactly.
very upset if they mess with
Well,
his.
he would, and there was there was the Senate bill with that exact language that they didn't move forward because they knew that language was in that bill.
Yeah, I just don't feel they're just not, I mean, I just don't see that would
They're
be
too
suicide.
smart to do that, but that's reason. I really hadn't done a whole lot on that, but now they're supposedly monkeying with this bill.
Yeah.
And
But
I
I mean, it
don't know.
wouldn't hurt to go ahead and do it, but like I said, that'd be political suicide for them to take out the governor's language. And
But Juliana, I still think it's important that we
that we reach out.
do a call to action. Everybody on this call, if a call to action is warranted, please monitor your emails. And if something is sent to you to send something out to these committee members, do not hesitate, because we've been at this for so long. Dr. Eichelberg has been at this before I started my leadership journey here in Georgia.
And
And we
let me
want to
tell
make
you,
sure that we get this through. Yes, Dr. Eichelberger.
the Georgia Nursing Leadership Coalition's number one priority. We've had two priorities since the founding of the Georgia Nursing Leadership Coalition. The first has been to double the numbers of doctorally prepared nurses in this state, which we have accomplished. The second is the collection of workforce data, which we have not done.
No, and as we've been going along over these last few weeks, so many times when we need some information, just like today when I was asking the Board of Nursing, do you have this particular information? And they said, no, we don't have it gathered. See, there's so many times that when we need information that it's not being gathered. So absolutely.
Of course, it is, and it is fundamental and basic to every legislative effort we have. That is the reason it was our number one priority, and it was the number one foundation. It was one of the original 4 pillars for the Future of Nursing report way back in 2010.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's foundational to all of this Future of Nursing efforts is collection of workforce data.
Mhm.
And so that's why, I'm so passionate about us collecting this data. And so it cannot be taken out of this bill.
Yeah.
And, we know what's happened with the Board of Nursing, and we're not getting it from the Board of Nursing. So we've got to get it in this, we've got to get it mandated. And so anytime we can get it, we got it in through your efforts and our efforts last year in House Bill 1013, which was signed into law. And this bill now will mandate reporting twice a year to the governor and the legislature, which I'm thrilled about. So I understand alternative discipline, and that's all well and good, but I'm much more concerned about this reporting of workforce data.
And Dr. Eichelberger, just to put a little bit more heft onto it, we want to remind everybody of what it is the pandemic laid bare for us in this state. How we had a crushing pandemic. We did not know where everybody was. It was not, we couldn't figure out where nurses were working, if they had left the state, who's coming into the state. For the state of Georgia to be able to plan properly and to give resources for workforce, they have to have that data somewhere. And you would think that people would give it readily, but unfortunately they do not. And so therefore, this needs to be mandated. And, this is incredibly important for us to be able to have this type of data to do strategic planning, workforce planning, all this type of planning. So please, if you see a call to action that is sent to you asking you to reach out to committee members or even to your own legislator, please do not hesitate to send it. Okay, we're going to need your help, as we always do, and we thank you in advance. Before I go any further, I just want to acknowledge Shelly Ann McKenzie, our president and CEO and leader and guru of help for healthcare professionals. Yes, you are. Don't even try like you're not. Shelly Ann, say hello.
Hi, everyone. Good night. How's everyone doing?
You didn't know you were all those things? Of course you knew.
Okay.
So Shelly Ann is going to come back a little bit later to talk about a big event that we have coming up April 1st. We cannot end tonight without telling you some of the exciting partnerships and things that we have on the horizon, because this work is very difficult, but at sometimes, particularly that point, which will be the end of the legislative session, we're going to have to kick up our heels and celebrate. We're going to have much to celebrate. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Juliana,
Yeah, I just
keep,
wanted to
keep
finish.
it going. No, Juliana, keep going with what you're saying.
Well, something else, this was, I mean, kudos to nurses. We got such a compliment this week through me, but it was a team that did this. The Secretary of State was having a little reception down on the second floor. So I saw what was going on. So I went down there and spoke to him, and I spoke to, and I talked with Jen, Gordon Pooch, and with Gabriel Sterling. And I'm for the life of me, I can't remember which one of them that told me this, but they said, I want to thank you and your nursing advocates. For the first time, since they have been in office, the House actually put additional dollars in the budget for the nursing board, for 2 analysts and a full-time healthcare specialist. And he said, and because of your efforts, you and your nursing advocates, y'all are the ones that did that. Okay, you came to us first, but y'all pushed it through, and the House actually has that in the budget. And he said, thank you so much. Y'all personally did that. And I said, wow, does that great or what, from the Secretary of State's office. And they haven't. They have struggled before to everything. Their budget, they just could not. They just ignored them. They just wouldn't put it in. And we actually got also an additional 5 other analysts for the other healthcare boards. Okay, so I was trying to get additional for like the composite board for counselors. They're in the same shape the nursing board is. They're like 6 and 7 and 8 months behind sometimes. So that they got 5 additional analysts, but they've got 2 that are specific for the healthcare board, 2 additional plus the full-time educator, what we asked for. And they said, I can't believe y'all did that. I mean, y'all are the ones that did it. And I said, oh,
Juliana, I remember going to the Secretary of State's office.
yeah,
We were there together just 1 year ago.
yeah.
And we sat in front of him. He said, oh, we can't do that. We just can't do that. And what a difference 1 year makes. It's called resilience, persistence, commitment, stick-to-itiveness, and just good old-fashioned not giving up and asking over and over and over again. One time you may just ask the people to say, you know what, I've had enough. Just give them what they want.
Yeah.
And thankfully, here it is. Dr. Eichelberger, you were going to say something.
And FaceTime, not on your phone, but going and sitting in front of them and talking to them and letting them know who you are and developing a relationship with them. That's what it takes. And Michelle Nelson and Juliana, they are on their speed dial with them, and they know who they are, and they have a relationship with them. And it has made all the difference. And going to those receptions, I mean, we have been to more fundraisers and more cocktail parties and gotten to know all these legislators. And it has taken years, 2 or 3 or 4 years, but it's different now. It is, there's a palpable difference this year. After this last election, this legislative session, it was different 2 years ago too, but every year it has gotten more nurse friendly every single year.
But think about it, Lisa, with the Secretary of State, the relationship and how the battle between the nurses and the Secretary of State's office several years ago to the point now where we are welcome with open arms. Like you said, he has our numbers on his cell phone and calls us when he needs something. I mean, it's totally, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
And
it has
So, something that I do want to clarify, Dr. Eichelberger, I don't know necessarily that the battle has gotten easier. I think
I didn't mean it was easier.
Or the battle is not.
I do believe it's easier because we have gotten friends. We've gotten so many more friends and supporters than we
I was
had
going to say,
5 years ago.
It hasn't gotten easier, but we've gotten stronger. We have gotten stronger. And, you guys have heard me say this many times before. My personal legislator said to me, my senator said to me, I can tell you, Michelle, why you guys are never going to get what you want. You're never going to get what you want. It was the slap across the face. You are never going to get what you want because you guys fight each other. You can't work together. There is no common voice. There is no unity. There is no nothing. And I'm not going to say that we're not like brothers and sisters that don't twist each other's noses and give each other a good hard slap or pinch from time to time. That's how brothers and sisters are. But when we go out in public, we are one. And we have to continue to drive that unity, that message that we support each other, and that most importantly, we're not doing this for nursing. We're doing it for Georgians. We're doing it for our patients and our clients that deserve optimal healthcare, cost-effective, safe, quality healthcare. Okay, that's what this is all about. Juliana, what else do we have on the docket to come? We have some things that still need to be worked on. We're not all the way there yet. We're inching closer and closer.
Yeah. Well,
but will we have some other needs and calls to action that will go out?
Like I said,
real quick.
I've got to wait.
Yes. I'm sorry, Robin.
Just to piggyback before Juliana gets into the next important piece of this, I encourage everybody to. A lot of the legislators will have meet and greets or breakfasts, meet me at, your legislator will be at the Waffle House or something like that. They have events. I encourage everyone to go out or they will send out capital updates. Sometimes they will include their cell phones on these updates. If you can get your legislator's cell phone number by reaching out to them, we need that. We need to be able to text somebody and say, we need you to text Senator so-and-so because we need their support. Regina Canty and I have been canvassing a lot of these meet and greets and events. And we've only been doing this for a couple months now, but we're now recognized. Jason Estevez, we've talked to him several times and met with him. His wife owns her own nurse practitioner clinic. He was the first one to have a question during the child and family meeting that we had about the guardianship bill, and he recognized us. So I just want to encourage everybody to please reach out to your legislators, and that will make our job and Juliana's job much easier if we can connect with them directly.
And think about that, Robin. We met him at the biennial over in Athens when you had Regina and Robin and Michelle. Who else was there representing nurses? When we were all there, I mean,
That's
took our time, our own personal time, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But they met as the new Senator Estevez, and then got to talking with him. And the reason he came over, he said, my wife's a nurse practitioner. And then because of that relationship that started that day, and we continued to cultivate it, he was the one that made the motion to approve that bill today.
And Regina and I met him at the African the Black History Month. Yeah, well, we saw him at the Black Burt Jones event for Black History. Shelly Ann was there too. And he recognized us again.
So see what that culminated in our bill today, with him making the motion to approve it. And and all of that started back that first time when we met him at the biennial. So if everybody, if all of our APRNs throughout the state of Georgia, if all of you would work in doing that and cultivating, meeting your local legislators, your senator and your rep, and developing, I had Robin today. She's got her senator, Senator Dolezal, who is one of the top ranking senators in the state of Georgia now. Okay, he and Brandon Beach and Matt Brass are the three most powerful senators in the state of Georgia right now. And they have, so she has met, because they went to some of the fundraisers. We all went to them together, and she got to meet him. Hey, I'm your constituent, and I'm a nurse practitioner. So several times now she has texted him we don't do it often because you don't want to wear it out. But at critical times, the other night at a crossover, we really needed our bill, and it wasn't being called up yet. So Robin sent in a text to him, and he sent back and gave her a thumbs up. Okay,
Yep.
but
So we're here. If you have questions, come out and talk to us. Yep.
So, and I did talk to him personally before the meeting today, and got his commitment to vote for the Schedule 2 before we went in. So that's so important. Now, so next week we have all these bills that were the Senate, the APRN wants Senate, but I will let you know if I feel like we need to send any emails to any of our members. And I'll be probably working with some of the other team to decide, like the Schedule 2, do we want to send out, or even at least ask you to reach out to your own senator and say, please vote for this bill. And then also the other House bill that we'll need to ask you to vote for. And then the same way, but let us see, because sometimes that's a strategy. We got to think through it. Do we need to send out emails or not? So I'll be letting you know. But we do, Lisa, need to definitely reach out to Kirkpatrick and
Watson and Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, just those two. They're the ones that are going to be making decisions on that. So we do need to, well, let me see. Maybe let me think about it. Maybe some of the other leadership, like the president pro tem and the majority leader. So just that the ones that are on the committee on assignments, tell them how important it is to keep that in there. I'll kind of make a list, but we do need a number of you and some other APRNs sending those out. Even though, like I said, I feel it would be political suicide for them to touch it with it being the governor's language, but just to be absolutely, to let them know too how important it is for us. I think that's a good recommendation.
Well, I can get all the members of the GNLC Data Advisory Committee to contact them.
Yeah. And if you can kind of put, but it's got to be, short, sweet, how important it is. And please leave that language in the mental health bill, the HB 520. I'll be having, and I may get a feel for it tomorrow. I'm on that big, huge mental health advocacy group. There's about 25 or 30 different organizations, and we meet every Friday at 1 o'clock. So I'll let you know if if they've heard anything, anybody that's on it, because they do, some of them, as they work with so the legislators may know. So I'll let you know what I hear, but just go ahead and plan to send that out. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You know
That's
what?
kind of at my level.
You know what I was thinking this week?
What?
Dr. Eichelberger, we've been working on these particular concepts and topics for so long that if they happen to get passed, I'm wondering, well, then what? Then what? We have been at Schedule 2 for so long. We have been talking about workforce for so long. These things have predated me here doing any of this leadership work here in Georgia. And
And
as we're
licensure.
and licensure. So as these things look like, they're coming to fruition, they may cross the finish line, we're going to remain prayerful and continue to work till the very end. What I would like to challenge the group tonight and everyone listening is to start thinking about some other things, some other topics, some other pieces of legislation that they believe are very important, because we're not going to rest here. There is so much work to do, so much. And the UAPRN Government Relations Council, the Georgia Nursing Leadership Coalition, Heroes for Healthcare Professionals, all these organizations that are working in concert with each other don't do the work just for themselves. We are doing and trying to deliver what we know and what we believe is in the best interest of the individuals that we serve, which is you and Georgians. However, that does not mean that we do not want to hear your voice. If there is something of concern to you, something that you are seeing in the clinical setting that we really need to turn our focus and attention to, we want to hear about it. Full practice authority, we've been talking about that forever. Absolutely. That is always going to be on the drawing board. But what are some of the other things that you were interested? We had tackled being able to prescribe home health, and we had to put that down a few years ago. Was it a year ago, 2 years ago? Maybe that's something that we would want to pursue again. But I don't want to always say maybe it's something we want to pursue. I want to hear definitively the voices of the individuals that we are representing. What are the things that are happening out in the clinical setting that we may not even be aware of? We want to hear those things from you. Dr. Eichelberger, Shelley Ann, would you agree? Yes.
Absolutely.
So I would say that you can use the UAPRN exec@gmail.com. You can use that email to send in anything that you are very passionate about that you would like us to address. We want to be able to start looking at other things that we can start working on. Full practice authority is very important, but there are a lot of things that need to be put in place before that is a consideration. And even after it's put in place, there are states that have full practice authority. They're still looking at legislation every single year. So this does not stop, but we want to hear your voices. That is very, very, very important. So the end of our session, we do have a date for that. That's March 29th, Dr. Eichelberger.
Yeah.
You
Sine
will
Die, it's March
Sine
29th.
Die, you will find us at the Capitol, usually in our regular hangout spot, which is the 4th floor of the Capitol building. We sit there until the bitter end. Most years we're there till midnight, 1 a.m. We have our folding chairs, our coolers, our laptops, our work desks, because we're not leaving until every single bill has some type of determination. So please, we welcome you to come and join us. If you have not been to the Capitol, you must take a trip to the Capitol and become well acquainted with it. There's so much history there, just the power within those walls. Come and be a part of it. And guess what? It is your state house. It's yours. Your tax dollars have that building standing. So come and be a part of it. Come and let your voices be heard. It is extremely important that we hear and see you, and we need your support. There's a lot of work to be done. Shelly Ann, you put something in the chat. Let's see what that is.
This is just one example.
Okay.
One example of how we can submit things to that nurse exec email.
Yes.
We have other states that are doing something, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. But if there's something that we can adopt that'll provide our workforce with more support, right? Or give Georgians access to better care or quality care, definitely consider it. Come on down, and I think it was Robin was speaking to the process itself, witnessing the process, understanding the process. Everyone can do it. I too was shy at first, but it's something to witness and know that you're a part of the change and making that impact in and around the communities that we all serve. So just participate. We'll show you how.
We will show you how.
I'm
We will
getting
show you.
seasoned by the day.
Listen, how the sausage is made with
Oh,
a whole lot of seasoning. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So UAPRN has a few events coming up, and I'd like to share this with you this evening. You can go to www.uaprn.org to see some of the announcements and upcoming events. We do have our legislative workshop coming up. The one that we did in January was a huge success and backed by popular demand. And we're hoping that we're going to continue the legislative workshops quarterly. The next one is scheduled for April 15th. It's going to be held at Northside Hospital. The details are on uaprn.org. We look to see you in the building. Now, the room, seating is limited. It is limited. We will be giving breakfast and lunch, but most importantly, all that you need to come down to the Capitol and advocate, you will find it here. I promise you, it's a wonderful time, chock full of information. So please mark your calendars. That is Saturday, April 15th. More information to come. Then we have, even before April 15th, April 1st, to cap off the legislative session. We have so much to celebrate. We have had some incredible heroes that have brought us through the pandemic, even before the pandemic, and those that will take us forward. This is Shelly Ann McKenzie's baby. Shelly Ann, just give them a little, just wet their wood. Don't give them all. Just
Not
give
too
them
much.
a little taste of what is to come the evening of April 1st.
Well, April 1st, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Atlanta Marriott, right near Emory, we're hosting our Night of Glam and Gratitude. So Help for Healthcare Professionals is hosting a Night of Glam and Gratitude. More than 20 awards will be given out to different healthcare roles, dentists, pharmacists, so on. We have tons of nominees. We're raising funds to provide education as well as skills training for aspiring healthcare workers and first responders. So we're looking to recruit, retain, coach, and mentor the next generation of healthcare professionals. We've partnered with ATL Plus Magazine. We're doing a special edition photo shoot and we did a magazine spotlighting the nominees. We were very intentional. We have nominees from Athens to south of Georgia, Sonoya County, over to Piedmont, Rockdale, and over to Cumming. So we're excited to celebrate healthcare workers, exceptional healthcare workers, and what we're doing in and around the communities that we do serve. And just come on out and just enjoy yourself, celebrate the end of the session, as well as celebrating our colleagues and our co-workers. We still have a couple of sponsorship spots available. Tickets are $150. Everything is available on the website. So I'll drop that information in the chat, but hope to see you there. Just tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's come out and celebrate all the hard work that we do from time to time.
Fantastic. So where do we get information about the gala again? Where do we go?
Help for healthcare professionals. www.helpforhealthcareprofessionals. And I'll also drop it in the chat here as well. And you'll see it out on the UAPRN social media platforms, as well as GNLC, the Georgia Nursing Coalition website. And look forward to seeing everyone there. We're giving
Yes, so come
awards to
cut a rug with
legislators.
Dr. Nelson, huh?
No, I said we're giving out awards to legislators, change agents, informaticists, entrepreneur of the year, all healthcare awards. So we're excited.
All right. So a fantastic reason to get dressed to the nines, come have some cocktails, eat great food, dance the night away, and celebrate your colleagues. Fantastic. The next thing that we have coming up in September, we have the UAPRN conference. That is going to be September 22nd to the 24th, I believe.
That weekend.
In Jekyll Island. And you can find out more information on uaprn.org about our state conference. I also want to give kudos to our Columbus chapter that's headed by our very own Dr. Pam Shaw. They had their chapter conference in Columbus this past month, a few weeks ago, and it was fantastic. Our very own co-chairs for the GRC, Regina Canty and Robin Pincherton, were on hand to let everybody know about all the good work that's being done legislatively. So we really want to thank them for going and representing. I don't think, am I missing anything? Dr. Eichelberger, Shelley Ann, I think those are our three big things coming up.
Yeah, I think that's the three main.
Things coming up, but most certainly we want you, there's one more. Chi Eta Phi Sorority Incorporated, in conjunction with Clayton State University School of Nursing, we will be hosting a mental health symposium on May 13th. Is it May 13th, Shelley Ann?
Hold on, I'm going to tell you right now. Mental health symposium. I feel like it's May 13th, the 13th, Saturday, May 13th.
Where?
It's at Lake City Community Center, Lake City, Georgia.
Yes, Lake City Community Center. And we're having panelists and, a lot of tips for pediatric nurses, geriatrics, for students. We're going to have a lot of students from various schools coming. Please, I do encourage you to attend and to support. Myself as an academician, I have to tell you guys that students are really struggling. Everybody's struggling, but especially them. So we want to make sure that we, as the stewards of nursing, are able to impart to the next generation coming behind us all the tips that they need to be well mentally, and to be able to go out and give sound care to their patients and clients. So please check that out. Dr. Eichelberger, anything else coming up that I may have missed?
No, but I would just like to put a plug in for, we have such accomplished nurses that are nurse practitioners, APRNs that are on this call. So I just would, while we're putting plugs in, I serve as the coordinator for the Georgia Nurses on Boards. And so I just want to remind you, because I haven't done that in a long time, if any of you serve on policy making boards, please go to nursesonboards.org and register your service. We have reached our goal of we're 100%. Thank goodness for Georgia doing that. But that really isn't the point. We want to capture everybody's service on policy-making boards. And I'm transitioning off as my director role, and Dr. Laura Caramonica is taking over that role soon. And so we hope to do some nurse on boards training. And if you're interested in that, let me know, because that's how we get our power, is serving on policy making boards. So if you want to make a difference, if you're interested, if you're not serving on a board, a lot of nurses, we found that nurses, particularly women, feel that, man, they'll serve on a board. They don't know anything about serving on a board. They just jump at the chance. Women are hesitant to do that. They feel like they need preparation and training to serve on a board. And so hopefully we're going to start that back up. We did it before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic hit, we kind of stopped doing that. So anyway, we hope to reinitiate that. And so if you're interested in doing something like that, let us know. But if you haven't
So,
read,
Dr. Eichelberger, where do they send information to you?
me. They can send it to me at Lisa Eichelberger's, my name, all one word, at clayton.edu. I'll have
Everyone
that
on this
until
call
I
should be
die.
on at least one board. I'm on about
Absolutely.
50 million. Can I at least give y'all one? Come
And
on
you know
now.
what? That counts as 50 million.
But
Yeah.
listen, we need new board members. So listen, Help for Healthcare Professionals, we have openings.
Oh,
And we're
wow.
intentional. We want nurses, dentists, EMTs, and so on to just continue to further the work. We need your ideas and so on. So
Okay.
ask me more.
See,
Yes.
so contact Shelley Ann McKenzie. How do they get in
Yes,
touch
Shelley
with
Ann, how
you,
do they
Shelley
catch
Ann
you?
McKenzie?
All right, I'll drop my email. I'm
Put your
dropping
email, and I'll
I'm
put my
dropping
email
something.
in the chat as well.
I'm dropping some other things in here. I took a screenshot, share this on your social media, and tag UAPRN. It's our advocacy night, and I'll drop my email in here, and you can contact me about membership on the board and just find out more about the board commitment. Some boards you just need quarterly FaceTime. You're looking at some strategic planning. You're just there to offer advice, right? And just guide organizations in the way that makes the best sense for them to have the highest impact. So quarterly updates, just go in, weigh in on the conversation and just be an advisor. So that's typically primarily what boards need. Your ideas, your perspective, your insight from your industry experiences. So yeah.
Fantabulous. Well,
Okay.
while these two are dropping stuff, I have nothing to drop. The only thing I have to drop is the mic, honey. We are
Yeah.
now at 9:08, and we have had a full evening. We have heard of all of our legislative victories. We have heard of all the wonderful things that are upcoming. We have had much food for thought. We have been encouraged to join boards. We've got so much going on. But most of all, before you leave this evening, I want to thank you for spending yet another evening with us here on Updated 8. We look forward to seeing you with more exciting news. Next week's chapter, Updated 8. Catch us here, 8 o'clock, Thursday evening. Have a beautiful and blessed week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm dropping the board information. Oh, can't type fast.